All right, ladies and gentlemen, we only have one manga reaction to do today, then a anime reaction, and then we can call it a session, and then I can rest for the rest of the day because I have been up since like before 5 o'clock. So I am since before 6 o'clock. So yeah, let's go ahead and get this started, shall we? Yo, peoples, Qushu 92 here. Welcome back to yet another live reading of Sakamoto Days. I apologize for my lateness. Church service went on just a little bit longer today, plus I had to get home and feed the boys. But all in all, everything is copacetic, and now we continue on. In the last chapter, we had Shin and Boiled basically driving, and then having to face off against not only Gozu, who was there to try and take out Sakamoto with his ridiculous amount of speed, but also encountering Tanabata, who was essentially being driven by Torres, because while Kendaka was prepared to square off against Gozu, Torres and Tanabata are also in a car adjacent from the van everyone's driving in, and now we're facing off against members of the Order. Literally, the only person we haven't had any member of Sakamoto's team face off against was literally the woman with the baby, and we haven't seen her in a long time. But we have Shin and Kendaka going up against members of the Order. That is, and one of X's group. So let's see what happens, because they are steadily going to be fighting on the road while we're trying to go to the JCC. Not knowing that Kipe and Shina, the Saionji twins, are already at the JCC preparing to kill Sakamoto as soon as he shows up. So let's see what happens in Days 237, Diabolical Enemy. And we get Gozu going, let's crank up the voltage. Then we get Kendaka going, don't let your guard down. Got it. And whoever is in this fire truck, we still don't know if it's Nagumo who's driving, because oddly enough, the person who's in this fire truck not only managed to save Shin, because Gozu was quick to kick Shin out of the van where everyone was at, but this random fire truck came out of nowhere, and the fire truck driver caught Shin by his jacket, just strong-armed him and just caught him with straight arm just out there. So some of us are kind of thinking, is this Nagumo in disguise? But the fire truck extends its ladder while Torres and company are driving right next to them. And whoever is controlling this fire truck swings the basket, like the ladder and the basket, straight towards Torres, causing it to smack into the car. Take the wheel, Tanabata. Copy. And Torres jumps from the car along with Gozu as they go face to face with Shin. And Torres brings out his sandblaster and blasts towards Shin, and it looks like it clips Shin in his shoulder, but it doesn't get him directly in the face. Then we get Kendaka. Who's going up against Gozu. This guy's tough to handle since I've been out of commission for a while. Wake up, Sakamoto! And Sakamoto is laying there, but there's a twitch from Sakamoto, and Kendaka notices it. Now why you go looking away? As Gozu goes in and slams Kendaka with as much electricity as Gozu can muster. Oh crap! Ugh! And Kendaka gets sent flying off of the fire truck, hitting the pavement. Mind you, they're driving at high speed, so Kendaka hits the ground. Kendaka! One down. And then we get Boils, who's watching all this on the side mirror, going, sheesh, I'm jumping in, Wu-Tang. You drive. I can't. I don't have a license. You gotta be kidding me. And then Aoi chimes in and goes,
I'll drive.
Nice. Thanks, Sakamoto's wife.
Oh, my license expired. Oh no, I'll have to go to the DMV. Mama?
Gah! Our guys are in danger and I can't help! And then someone behind goes,
I can drive.
Huh?
I have my license.
And it's Atari. She's the only person that can drive. And then we get Shin, who's facing off against Torres and Gozu. And Shin's silent. You know, I'm mystified. How come you guys are doing all this to protect Sakamoto? You of all people should know. Huh? You're terrified, right? Of Mr. Sakamoto waking up. And Gozu's kind of silent, and then he kind of smiles through it and goes, No way, bro. We already creamed that guy once. Oh, really? Then why not just leave us alone? The reason you guys are so desperate to stop Mr. Sakamoto is because you know he'll be a real threat when he gets back on his feet. And then Gozu, his eyes go wide because those words struck a nerve. You're pissing me off, punk. And then Gozu goes in. Gozu goes in to try and hit Shin, and Shin's standing there, and then we get Boyle going, hard boiled! And Shin dodges out of the way for Boyle to land a hit directly on Gozu.
Boiled! Who's driving?
Atari's got the wheel. And they're both silent for a second. And then Shin goes,
Huh? Is that wise?
She's stone cold out of luck right now.
Here goes.
And as soon as Atari grabs the wheel, the entire van is driving fast, and all of a sudden, all 4 tires of the van blow out. As soon as she touches the wheel, all the tires blow out. She wasn't kidding when she said she was out of luck. Now it's just straight up bad luck because all the tires that blew out. Even Wu-Tang is awestruck by this. All 4 tires blew. And then the van just starts careening and it starts spinning. Then it hits a guardrail and literally flips in the air. While Aoi is hanging on to Hana, Sakamoto is, kind of airborne as well. Everything is airborne. And then Tanabata's just whistling. Mm-hmm. And then Torres lands in the car. Why are you in such a good mood? And then Gozu lands right beside him going, Why'd you back off now, Torrance? I don't want to get near that girl. I got a bad hunch about her. And then the van continues to careen out. Continues to careen out of control. And there's more screaming. And then, while it's on its side, Atari comes flying out of the passenger side, into the air.
Atari!
And lands directly next to Torres. Lands directly in between Gozu and Torres. Torres just said, and here's the thing, Gozu calls him Torrance, but his name is Torres, so he can't even get his name right. But Torres just says, I don't want to get near that girl. I got a bad hunch about her. And so much bad luck is on Atari now that now she just happened to land next to the person who doesn't want to be near her at all.
I'm gonna die today.
Why? Hey, you moron, what you doing? Huh? Quit chatting and kill her. What's your hurry? She's bad luck, dude. Huh? You gotta be kidding. What's that mean? What's that mean for me anyway? Beats me. And the one who comes in out of nowhere because he didn't listen, we have Mr. Shishiba! Shishiba is flying right above them and just lands on the back of the car, slamming Gozu's fingers directly into the seat with his hammer. And then Tanabata's surprised while Gozu goes, Tanabata, hit the brakes! And before he can do that, we have someone come in out of nowhere like a lightning bolt. and slice the entire front of the car in half. And it's Miss Osaragi. She's back! Run! And all she can say is, Mist. Hey, Dingbot, we've got a score to settle with you. And because remember, the last time we saw Shishiba and Osaragi fighting, they were fighting Gozu. And Gozu literally electrocuted the heck out of the both of them. And now they're here to settle the score and bring down Gozu and the other members of this new order. Shishiba and Osaragi. We talked about this. That's the end of the chapter. Osaragi and Shishiba just showed up. We just talked about this. What if members of the order just land in and start to give a hand to Sakamoto and company? We just talked about this. So now we got Shishiba and Osaragi. Oh, no, this is good. Yeah, okay, this holds a lot more credence to the one being in the fire truck being Nagumo. It does! Because why would this random fire truck civilian driving a fire truck, why would he go out of his way to purposefully try to harm and hurt and fight the order? Why? Think about it. Why? Why would he go out of his way? So it has to be Nagumo. The one thing that tipped me off about it was the fact that this random civilian was able to just straight up hold up Shin as if they weighed nothing, something that only members of the order or people who are assassins can do. Not only that, the fire truck decided to keep in line, like keep up in speed with the car that the other new members of the new order were driving, and even use the ladder to try and take out the both of them in an attempt to take out the car. So this leads even more credence that Nagumo, Shishiba, and Osaragi are about to work these jokers' ribs. And the fact that, here's the thing though. The end of this chapter, where Osaragi slices through the car is still driving at top speed on the highway, which means that Osaragi moved faster than this car, sliced through the front of it, and only complained about missing Tanabata. Because Tanabata apparently, she wasn't able to slice through Tanabata. He probably avoided it. We don't see him moving, but we do see like a little bit of his hat, but we don't see the rest of him, so he probably avoided getting cut by her. But Shishiba lands and basically crushes, it appears that he crushes Gozu's hand. But then again, I don't think he's not crushing his hand. It's just that Gozu moves in a way to keep Shishiba from actually killing him and is blocking his hammer. That's the way it looks. But Osaragi came in and sliced the entire front half of the car apart. So that means that Tanabata, Torres, and Gozu, yeah, we don't need to worry about them catching up to Sakamoto. However, the entire van where Sakamoto was incapacitated in, along with Aoi and Hana and Wu-Tang, yeah, that's kind of capsized now. That's on its side. Atari just landed in between them. And that just starts the bad luck. I am so happy with this chapter. Kendaka about to be back too. I have no doubt he'll be able to catch back up soon, considering how fast he is. Yeah, he said he was out of practice with combat, but that doesn't mean his legs have stopped working. This man was in a coma for what, 8 years? 8 years. And he was still faster than everyone on Sakamoto's team, including Sakamoto. So that's one thing. Another thing to take note from this is the fact that Shin says the reason why you're absolutely terrified of Sakamoto waking up. And, you know, Gozu's trying to, like, play it off. They're like, nah, man, you crazy. We creamed him once. And no, the thing is, What really sets him off and gets him upset is the fact that Shin confirms that if that were the case, why are you so bothered and why are you trying to kill him? Because you know if that man wakes up, he is going to be a major problem for you. You know he's going to be a major threat to everything you're doing if he wakes up. Why not just leave us alone if you're not that worried about him? Why go out of your way to have every single one of your strongest people come after him? Because you know that this is the only opportunity you have to actually put an end to him. Because when he wakes up, he is going to run so many hands. You threatened his wife. You threatened his child. You basically destroyed his entire home, his entire business. He is literally going to have a John Wick 2 moment where after blowing up his house, you think he ain't gonna come back after you? Sakamoto tired. You almost killed him. He's still alive. You almost killed him. But the fact that also Sakamoto twitched. He twitched. He hasn't moved at all ever since he's been in this state. Ever since he's been in this state. You know, relatively stabilized by Granny Mia. But they are terrified by when he will wake up. Mind you, Sakamoto hasn't exactly been at 100% ever since he thought he lost both his wife and daughter. He hasn't been the same since. But when Sakamoto wakes up, that is what Uzuki's fearing. That is what members of the Order are fearing. That's what the members of Alkamar are fearing. They want to kill Sakamoto because he will be that ace in the hole that will bring them all down if he is left alive. And if he wakes up and he gets his bearings and we see him, cracking his shoulder again, you already know it's on. Ain't nobody gonna be able to do nothing. Because the strongest assassin that exists in the world today is Sakamoto. Simply because Old Man Takamura was the strongest assassin ever. Even when Sakamoto was alive. Once he died, it became Sakamoto. I don't count Uzuki and his replica or split personality that he got going on. That whole Legion deal that he's got going on right now. I count Sakamoto as the next best assassin to exist in the world of Sakamoto days. When this Joker wakes up, there are gonna be some problems for Uzuki and his group. I love how they're in a life or death situation, yet they still abide by the driving laws. I respect it. Yeah. Even though Boiled is all like, Wu-Tang, you take the wheel. Sorry, I don't have a license. Aui's all like, I can drive. Oh no, my license is expired. I gotta go to the DMV and renew it. It's like, yeah, you could drive, but yeah, it's also kind of funny how this is a very life or death situation, and they still want to obey the rules of the road. Atari's the only one who can actively drive, and since she's out of good luck, it blows out all of the tires. Also, Boyle getting in on the action. You love to see it. He needs to run those hands with Tanabata again. Yeah, he still owes that dude a beating for basically strumming him across the chest and cutting his chest open with that guitar pick. He still owes him that. So what we have here, though, is the fact that we have Order versus Former Order. Shishiba and Osaragi. Now, out of everyone that has faced off against Shishiba and Osaragi, they got a vendetta against Gozu the most. Because Gozu was out here electrocuting people left and right, and basically crippled Shishiba. And Osaragi, she got bodied as well because of Gozu. And if it wasn't for Gozu trying to shock them all, and him basically jump-starting Osaragi, she basically jumped outside to get all of them out. To get both Kamihate and Shishiba out. And now that they fully recovered, see, it's one thing to have Shishiba. When Shishiba goes on a rampage, it's all over. But let's not forget, Osaragi showed up at that museum and cut apart Carolina Reaper like he was basically nothing. and then crawled out of the hole she made of the floor beneath where Carolina Reaper was, and she proceeded to just basically go up against everyone. And had it not been for them explaining that Amane was not the one who was going up, Amane was not the one who was siding with the Uzuki's group, she probably would have killed him too. She probably would have killed him too. But not only that, Osaragi is a problem. For anyone facing Osaragi, she's a problem. She is ridiculously strong. Do not let the petite frame fool you. She is ridiculously strong for a woman her size. Now, both her and Shishiba are back. And they are absolutely livid. The person that bodied them before they could recover is right there in front of them. Oh, it's about to be an issue. Torres, ooh, I can't wait. And we're not going on break. We're not going on break of Shishiba and Osaragi showing back up again. I can't wait. This is going to be a good chapter next week. Shishiba and Osaragi are about to do some work. And if Gozu doesn't die, if Torres doesn't die, if Tanabata doesn't die, they're going to be severely injured. They're going to be greatly injured, leaving the only remaining members of Alkamar who are either... Because I believe Kumanomi is out of commission right now, both her and the wrestler guy. The only person that's left for the Order is essentially Oki. But this fight, especially this high-speed highway chase fight that's happening right now, yeah. Osaragi is an example of what I imagine whenever I make up those exaggerated stories about Kitty. Yeah, that's basically Osaragi. The stories you may have heard of have been watered down. It's exactly like that. Osaragi's back. Shishiba is back. More than likely, that fire truck driver is Nagumo. So you got 3 members of the Order against 2 members of the Order and a member of Alkamar. Yeah, I can't wait to see next week's episode. I mean, next week's chapter. Sorry. But I'm happy. I am so happy to see Shishiba and Osaragi again. And Osaragi is just dressed up again like it's just another day at the office, despite what happened to her. Because now she's got a brand new circular saw, because remember, the last one she had was completely destroyed. It was completely destroyed by Uzuki, I believe. It was completely destroyed, and she now has a brand new one. The fact that she moves faster than a car on the highway. I can't wait. But this also means that for all intents and purposes, Atari may be okay. Because if Shishiba is going to be going after the both of them and fighting them, all they really need to do is just get Atari away from them, and then Shishiba and Osaragi can all go all out. They can all go out. Because I believe Kamihate was dealing with Heisuke and getting him to a hospital. We don't know if Kamihate is going to be around. We don't know, but we'll have to see. Overall, having Shishiba and Osaragi come back, yeah, this was a good chapter. The one thing I'm curious about with Oki is I wonder if we see Oki go to backstab Uzuki, since he's pretty much alone now, and that backfires and we get Oki versus Uzuki at some point. I don't know. I mean, he likes the current JAA because it's literally, we're assassins and there's all sorts of assassinations, but I just simply love killing. So I don't know if he's going to go up against Uzuki, simply because Uzuki gives him the freedom to be as much of an assassin as he wants to be. I'm just thinking back to the speech he gave when he was talking to Sakamoto and company when they got out of the prison. I'm just remembering that, so I don't know if Oki versus Uzuki will be a thing, unless Uzuki decides that we don't need the Order at all. That's when there's going to be a conflict of interest, if Uzuki decides we don't need an Order for this new JAA that we have. You're no longer necessary. That's the only thing. But that'll be something we contend with once we take out the remainder of these members for the Order and deal with them, get Sakamoto, fully recovered and healed, and get him back into the fight. All I know is Shishiba and Osaragi are back, and I cannot wait to see what happens in next week's chapter. Halster, it's always an honor and a privilege to entertain you while you're here, and anyone else who's here and listening to my entire read-through for Sakamoto Days. All I can say to you is thank you for being here. We are literally 10 people away from being a 6,000 subscriber channel. 6,000 people who enjoy what I do. All I can say is thank you for all the support you guys have shown me throughout all these years, and I'm looking forward to entertaining you some more. Hope y'all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Even check out my Patreon, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. And because I know you're coming back anyway. Have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later, peoples!